They're two brothers and gamers that have been playing games since the early 1980s. Combined, they have over 65 years experience. Join them each week as they discuss and rant about gaming and entertainment news. This is Generation X Gaming.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another week, another episode of Generation X Gaming, the weekly podcast that goes over a few of the top stories from the past week, and we rant along the way. I'm your host, 30 and Still Gaming, and joining me each and every single week is Sgt McClusky. What's going on, bro?
In the middle of being sick.
Nice. You're bringing the low energy. I'm bringing the high energy. Yin and yang. We're ready to go. Angry and happy.
I mean, I couldn't.
Chat,
talk
you pick
to
which one's who.
I couldn't talk at all if I didn't take the medicine. Otherwise, I'd just be having a coughing fit the entire time.
On today's show, we're going to be talking lots and lots of stuff. We're going to be talking about Suicide Squad. They had a roadmap and a stream earlier this week on Monday, so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Ghost of Tsushima and Horizon Forbidden West are coming to PC. We're going to be talking about Diablo 4. We're going to talk about Apple. We got Netflix. We're going to talk about Palworld. We're going to talk about RoboCop. We're going to be talking about Disney. One of the Imagineers created, you know, that floor that everyone's trying to work on with the VR? Like, you got to put the special shoes on. There's like a conveyor belt. There's all this like other stuff. This guy created the floor. Like, the floor. Like, there's not going to be another floor like this floor. This is the floor that will happen for all people, for the meta and stuff like that.
I'm interested because that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing, bro.
Yeah, and then we're going to talk about a little game that was introduced to me the other day called Spaceborn 2. I haven't played it, but we watched the video. Okay, now I liked Starfield, right? I'm all for Starfield. I like Starfield, but this guy, that's right, you heard me correctly. One guy created a game that can rival Starfield for a whopping $20. Okay, so we're gonna talk about that and show you some footage of that later in the show. If you guys like what we do here, we do this Monday through we don't do this through Monday through Thursday. We do this Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, every single week, or 43 weeks. So we miss about 10 weeks a year for holidays and whatnot. But you can watch the past broadcast over on this channel, 30 NSG. You can watch the late episodes over on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Anchor.fm. And all the audio podcasts are over there on the podcast format as well, audio formats as well. What's going on, chat? Let's see if we have chat. Let me see if we put chat. That's news. Right? There's chat. Chat's in the chat. I see chat on screen. Come on, chat. Say hi, chat. Say hi to yourselves, chat. All right. Stell says, let's go, bros. This should be a good one. Oh, says good evening, chat and Sarge and Mike. Game Pass.
There's a lot of stuff going on. I mean, like a lot of stuff.
You gotta say hi. There you go, chat. See yourself on the show.
There's a lot of stuff going on. A lot of the new stuff. It seems like it has a narrative behind it, but there's just a lot of BS going on right now.
Yeah. So let's talk about what we've been playing. Let me find that button. All right, Sarge, another week. Now, what have you been playing?
I mean, I don't have a huge amount of time. Like, I have to be in the mood. I couldn't come to the grips with playing any Starfield this past week.
You still haven't finished Starfield yet? You still?
Nope.
Yanking teeth now. Like,
I warned you what was going to happen with that game. I warned you.
I mean, it doesn't affect me in any way. I finished it.
I did go back and I did look at the armor sets that were released by Division 4. I just needed something to veg out on, especially the last couple of days I've been kind of like just under the weather.
I think Division's next season starts soon, doesn't it?
I mean, regardless if it does or not, I guess I would say is like I don't have the best set. I have a decent set. but I'm watching people that have like sets that they're doing legendary incursions by themselves. Like when you watch somebody understand a game and he's spec'd out to do legendary incursions by himself and watch how he plays. Like somebody who's watching someone play a game, you're like, yeah, this is just some dude just shooting a gun, running around watching.
Right,
things.
you just don't know. It
like,
looks boring, but if
like,
you know what he's doing, you're like,
if
this
you know,
is super impressive.
You know the map he's on,
Yeah.
you know the guys he's got to fight, like you know what he's doing, how he's avoiding the bad guys, how he's either glitching it or finding a way to get out of it. Like it that makes it interesting, right? That's what I find interesting about those kind of games. But I need a better build, just in general. I did try. I did play the North and South game ever since we talked about it last week.
From last week, yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's just a shits and giggles game, but still fun though.
Sure.
I did play a little bit more of Dune Spice Wars online this time against people. That's a different experience altogether, especially for people who understand the team that they pick.
Is it
little?
Is it or 1v1v1v1, or is it 1v3?
Yeah.
Like what is it like? Or
no, it's every man for themselves.
No,
it's 4 people.
It's 4 people.
Four people, every man for themselves. Yeah, it's very interesting. Like I play games where it's teams, like 1v1 or 2v2, 3v3, 4v4. But a game where it's every man for themselves, and each faction's got their own way of playing. It's let's put it this way:
can you team up with people? Can you team up with people?
Yeah, sure, you can make alliances.
Sure, okay.
Right, you can either make like gentleman alliances, or you can make strategic alliances with leverage. Like if I get you in a position where I offer you resources with the inclusion of a truce, and you say yes, you can do it, but you could also still break it.
Right.
But if you break it in the game, there's severe consequences by the government in the game. Like you're penalized. So like you can backstab, but if you backstab under truce, then you get penalized. So it's a very let's put it this way: every match is sweaty. Like there's no chilling out with a with a 4-man game of Spice Wars. Like you're not just chilling out.
When you said sweating, the first thing that pops in my head is that scene from Airplane when he's like he's coming in, he's just bawling sweat. Yeah,
because the only way I can explain it is you have to watch someone play it online and listen to him talk while he goes through the process of him doing what he has to do. And I'm watching and I'm like, yep, yeah, you can do that. Yeah, don't forget that. Yeah, you can do that. Don't forget that. Oh, watch out for that. Like you're doing that constantly for 2 hours.
Yeah,
like,
it's exhausting.
You're battling 3 other people mentally, as well as keyboard and mouse. You are battling them.
Yeah,
right?
Mentally that would be exhausting.
It's crazy. Like after I played a couple matches, I had to take a nap. Like because it's nutty because it's not about getting resources and building the most tanks. That's not it. You have to worry about everything. Like literally, imagine your life's on the line, but you're in charge of a people. Like that. It's crazy. I feel challenging.
I feel like at the end of the day,
challenging.
At the end of the day, the person that does that, he sits down, lays down in bed next to his wife. And she's like, "How's your day?" He's like, "Oh, you won't believe it. And he starts to go into it. And she's like, "What are you talking about? Are you talking about a game?" He's like, "Oh yeah,
aren't you?
Everyone
depends. Janitor?
Yeah, everyone was depending on me. The Spice Wars that were happening across the land, right? Took over 3 territories.
Like, don't you work at fucking CVS? What the hell are you talking about?
Exhausting. It's exhausting.
No, but games like that, once again, it's not a mainstay game. Like a bunch of you're not gonna get like World League or like you know what I mean. Like that's not gonna happen. But like people who understand that kind of game, it's nerve wracking, bro. It's nerve wracking because you make a couple wrong moves and that's the thing about it. Like you make a wrong move and somebody can actually they can almost catch it. Like as they're playing the game, they're looking at the votes when you vote for the government issues. And they're voting okay, so he only voted this. This is how many votes he has. He only has 3 spice things. He only has this. And if I do this, and then I side with the Emperor, he's fucked. Like, and you have to like you're playing chess. Like it's crazy.
A lot of people don't like those type of games because when you watch it, it's kind of boring because you don't know what's going on. But if you're a person that knows what's going on, you're like, dude, this is exciting, right? It's
watching paint dry. I was watching a couple of board games.
I was gonna say, is that a channel? Is that a channel on YouTube?
I was watching some guys play Axis and Allies competitively, and I'm like, I've been playing the game since I was 10, right? So like I'm watching it, and I'm looking at the guy, and I can like hear them talking about what they're gonna do, and I'm like, game's over in 4. Just stop. Right? It's I've played the game so many times that you know how many moves it takes to end the game, and like they try to do all this crazy shit, and I'm like, nope, you lost in 5. That's it. You're done. Like it doesn't, like the dice decide, right? But like there's like an 97% chance that if you make these moves, the game's gonna end. Like that's what happened.
Yeah.
So I've been busying myself with those kind of things. I watched a lot of videos on your whole Suicide Squad thing. I'm on the fence.
Ooh.
I'm never day one.
What about if I throw in some pins?
I'm never day one.
What if I throw in some pins, anniversary pins?
And that's the only reason why I will not be buying it day one. I'll wait. I'll wait. I don't have a problem. Right? I watched your whole interview with Miller. I thought the whole interview went great. I like how he uses the Parappa rapper guy for his avatar. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, he likes the VR space.
I think it's fine. Everybody's got their thing, man. I don't care. I don't care. If I could do that, and I was tech savvy enough or nerdy enough again, back when I used to care, I put myself as a hot blonde chick and just put myself on the show.
You could do that. You could do that now, Sarge.
I know you can.
You want me to set you up?
But do I really want to? Do I really want the people in this chat to be looking at me that way? I can't. I don't want to think about that.
When we get to the Suicide Squad, I'll like to dig in a little bit more about that for Suicide Squad, trying to get you in real quick. Not that you've been playing it, but because of Palworld's been out, I saw a lot of advertisements on Twitter. I know you're not on Twitter a lot, but even on YouTube, there's a lot of stuff going on with Enshrouded, Nightingale, and Dune. Right now, Dune is a open world survival game that's coming out. Are you interested in that at all?
I don't know. Anytime you take a game and try to insert the IP of it and then put it into a game genre just to see if you get more people hooked in, like there's so many survival games.
Conan was good, man.
So many.
Conan's a good game.
There's so
and
many.
I think Dune could do really well in that genre.
I listen. I go for the numbers. Is your game good? Does it work? Do a lot of people play it? Does it last more than 6 months? That's kind of like how I look at it. Is your game good? Great. Do people care about your game after 6 months? Then it's an interesting game. It must be having something to it, right? But if the game you play it's over and it's done because there's 17 just like it.
Well, that's the problem right now, right? Palworld is the first one that come out this year in early access, and Shrouded.
I mean, it's January.
And Shrouded just came out just a week afterwards, and it's almost the same type of survival type game. Obviously, you're not capturing Pokemon-like things, right? So there's a lot of games coming out that are similar, but they might get overshadowed now by something else. And even if it was popular, let's say Enshrouded comes out and sells 2 million copies, okay? Yeah. That's going to look like minuscule to what Palworld's doing, where it sold 9 million copies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but does the 2 million copies keep the company afloat to make the next game?
I'm talking about public perception. Yeah, public perception.
Yes, yes. But I haven't read up enough on Palworld. The negative narrative surrounding that game made me interested, so I started looking up as much information as I could about that game. So far, all I've come to the conclusion of. Now, I understand that the narrative is they stole from Nintendo. I got it.
Right, with no proof. There's no proof. There's no proof.
Right?
Just all
whatever.
Accusations.
I look at that game and I say to myself, somebody who's smart and makes video games saw that Nintendo dropped the ball and released 2 crappy Pokemon games, and there's a hole in the market. Yep. And somebody says, we can fill this hole, giggity, and we can be better than Nintendo, right? And we can be better than Nintendo. So what? They did, and now the journalists of the world are not happy that these people made a better game than Nintendo. Shudder the thought.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Don't. We're still in what we've been playing.
Yeah. Playing by mind games.
I've been playing Palworld. I also played, what else did I play? I played something else. Yeah, what else did I play? Did I play anything else on stream this week? It was just Palworld this week.
You've been playing a bunch of stuff, haven't you? You've been bouncing around.
I've been bouncing around. I played Ghostbusters. I played a bunch of stuff. But this past week, I'm trying to think if I played. I think it's just Palworld, right? I can't even keep track of. I bounce around so much. But I'm really enjoying it. And last week, before Palworld came out, we watched the video, and I went, I don't know if I'm gonna like this game. I said I like survival games. Look, I'm straight up. I've never played a Pokemon game ever. I never played Pokemon the card game. I've never watched Pokemon the TV show. I know who Pikachu is, right? I know Charmander or whatever, right? That's about it. Right?
After my time.
Right. I played Magic the Gathering. Okay.
I played Magic.
Right. And then Pokemon came out and basically just ripped off what Magic the Gathering was and made it into Pokemon, and then they made their own thing, right?
Well, so the demographic was different.
Sure, but the card game's a card game. The same mechanics is what it is, right? So I never played Pokemon. So Palworld, I was like, I don't want to take care of animals, right? Like, I want to play a survival game. I'm barely scraping by taking care of myself and feeding myself, right? So I started playing this, and I'll bring up some gameplay footage of it. Yeah, this is me. And I like it. It's a fun time, okay? And I really do enjoy it. And what's great about it is that there's always, and this is why I like survival games, Valheim, Minecraft. The reason Minecraft is so successful is because you can build, but it's always keeping you doing something, right? Like you're making a crafting bench, and then all of a sudden you have to build a building to farm your animals, and then you're farming, and then you're exploring.
But Minecraft was done in stages.
Sure.
Right? It was done in stages. So even the most basic game, you learned a little bit. Like, you asked questions, and then you basically had to learn the answer. Like, that's the thing that people don't talk about Minecraft. Like, you don't just play Minecraft. You are teaching yourself Minecraft. Right? Like, you can ask your friend, like, how do I get that? How do I do that? How do I build that? Like, on the Xbox version of Minecraft, you could just build the item you wanted. On the PC version, you had to learn where to put the items in order to make the item. Like, it wasn't just, I want to make the hammer. You had to learn where to put the things on the crafting bench to make the item.
Right.
So you had to teach yourself. And so the more they kept releasing, the more complex the game got.
Yes.
Right?
The wiring system with red wire.
Basically, so if you were around during the beginnings of Minecraft, let's say you were maybe 10 years old, 10 years old, you just got started with Minecraft. You have now grown up teaching yourself Minecraft for 10 years.
Yeah.
And now Minecraft has got this giant world, do whatever you want, servers are yours, my MTX up the wazoo. You do whatever you want now. Like, it's insane.
Yeah, my son's played half his life. He's played Minecraft already. That's
what I'm saying.
He's 9. He's been playing 3, 4 years old. He started playing Minecraft on the iPad or whatever.
Like, even to this day, I don't know all the magic abilities. I have to ask my nephew.
Yeah.
I ask my nephew about how to get this magic ability.
Now,
he knows everything.
Palworld is this phenomenon that's happening right now. Now, it could be 2 weeks and then gone. Right, like last month in December, Once Human was taking off after the day before bombed. Right, Once Human came in, people were like, "Once Human's fantastic." Like 2-3 million people were playing the game. They couldn't get into the thing because it was really popular. It was early access, right? And then it was beta. This game comes out, it's in early access still. This game's not even fully released. Okay, it's on Xbox, it's on Xbox Game Pass, and it's on PC. Okay, and basically it's potentially Pokemon, but once you start leveling up these creatures, okay, you got AK-47s, you got rocket launchers, you got guns, right? There's some really cool things. There's boss fights, right? There's boss battles, and a lot of things that people are talking about this game is that, well, they stole from Pokemon, and they didn't do anything original, and people are upset about this game because it's successful. And how does that affect us in any way, shape, or form as consumers?
It doesn't.
It doesn't, right? So if you like a game, you pay for the game, and it's weird. Now, just a few months ago, Sarge, we were talking about like Starfield wouldn't sell because of Game Pass, right? And then we were proven wrong. People went out and bought it on Steam. 6.5 million people bought Starfield, and we don't even know the game sales on Xbox, okay? And now here's another game. It's on Game Pass, okay? Now there's 2 versions. there's the Steam version, and then there's the Xbox version. And the Xbox version is about 2 versions behind the Steam version. Okay, they're not the same versions. Lots of crashes are happening on Xbox. Lots of instabilities and stuff because it's older versions.
2 versions behind, yeah.
Steam is working a lot better. You see this glitch that's happening right now. This is on PC, though. I can make this happen anytime I want. I was showing chat this. Okay. I could ride up in the sky and then just fall, let go, and then I can just float down and go where I want. Okay, it just keeps going higher and higher and higher. Right. Anyway, so this was a main glitch that I was doing on purpose. I figured it out. I break games. That's what I do. Right. And so with this specific PAL on your head, when you leave your boundaries of your base, you start flying. Okay. Don't ask me how I figured this out, but I did. Okay.
That's what happens.
So this game is basically you go around and you can just collect PALs, or you can beat bosses, and you can keep building your base. And it's kind of like keeps going hand in hand with it, where like if you want to collect more things, then you have to expand your base so you can put more guys to work. And people, just like Starfield, right? Starfield's got boundaries that you're hitting, and there's guys in the background with the eyes popping out. People are looking to nitpick everything. In this game, people are like, there's slavery. PETA took a stab at them. PETA, right? The people who could protect actual animals in real life, they're upset because 0s and 1s are being slaughtered and put to work in a video game.
I'm hoping this is the statement. As a young adult, and I'm not in this category now, I'm an old adult, but as a young adult, if you don't notice the narrative from journalists against specific video games, then I think you guys have to really start to pay attention. I don't understand the negativity of how they choose to be negative on these video games, right? If this is a game that it bothers you in some way, then don't pay attention to it. But to sit down and write an article, a story about it, and then just try to dig on it the entire time, you're not even talking about the game. You're talking about other shit. Like, how much political bullshit do you want to throw into my video game? I don't understand what it is you're trying to do. Here's the 2 things that are going to happen. Right now, Nintendo's watching to see how much money they make. They're going to have a sit down and have a talk with their lawyers, and they're going to say, listen, is there enough here for us to do a lawsuit, or is basically what they're doing is just fair use in video games? This is how video games are made.
Right. Well, 1, I think it's parody, and 2, they've changed enough of each of the models that I don't think they have a case. But hey, I'm not a lawyer. Don't claim to be one. But we'll see what happens.
We'll give it 60 days, right? Let them have all their money, and then let's see if Nintendo sues them.
Well,
like, if you guys are that concerned about it.
Well,
like, I don't think that's
Pokemon has risen. Godzilla has woken, and now they're like, we heard people complaining of intellectual properties. We were looking into the matter, right? So they're awoken now. They've also, I think, almost close to 9 million sales. Okay, they're 8 million, moving towards 9 just on Steam. Just on Steam.
Okay, but what does that tell you?
It means people want a game that's fun. Right? And
no, they wanted a Pokemon game.
Well, correct.
But Nintendo dropped the ball twice.
Correct.
And somebody picked up the ball and ran it in for a touchdown. That's business 101, right? Unfortunately, to some people, everyone thinks that everyone's out to get them. Like, everyone's out to get you on some level with some kind of video game. They're all trying to make money. That's it. They're trying to make money. If you have an IP and you piss all over it, and you don't care about it anymore because you keep racking in the dough, and somebody else goes, we believe there's a hole in this market. They've dropped the ball. Let's see if we can do a better game than them. Well, that's what gaming was about. That's how you got better games.
Here's a major problem that I see in the industry right now, right? Like, Starfield, $70, right? Suicide Squad, $70. All these games are coming out $70. Battlefield 2042, Cyberpunk was $70. Pick a game, $70. Full-fledged things. This game is $30. Early access, Enshrouded is $30 right now. Okay, these games are gigantic, and yes, they're in early access, but this is the same price. Actually, not the same price. $5 more. Okay, or $30 less than some skins that are sold in Call of Duty or Apex Legends or Fortnite. Okay, this full-fledged game that it's not out yet, it's still in early access, that they're charging $30. It's actually $26 or $27 right now with a 10% discount. And all the stuff that you can do in this game, and the industry is freaking out, right? They were upset about Baldur's Gate 3 because you can't expect that to be the standard of video games, right? Then you see this game come out at $30. You see a Shrouded coming out for $30. They're still being worked on and being fixed, but you're getting it at a lower price. But yet you're getting a much bigger, better game than the AAA studios can put out for a fraction of the price. Okay, a fraction of the price.
Well, what this also says to me is that current video game companies are bloated, right? They have fired so many people. They have to have all these other guys do the job of one guy, and they're bloated. And this is why we have these hirings and firings every year, because they don't have their core crew people anymore, right? If I can read in the same breath that video game companies, this is from 22 to 23, had record-breaking profits, right? And yet at the same breath, you say, well, we had to let go of 2,000 people, 2,500 people. We can't get you the game. We can't get you the game on day one. You have to wait a year, 18 months. The game's broken. We understand. Like, all this nonsense about how I can't release a game on the day it releases, that I have to wait to get the game fixed, right? Meanwhile, there are still people like this who sense holes in the market and are able to do what gamers do. They make a game and sell a game.
Well, it's still in early access, but yes, they're in the process.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's Star Citizen's early access, bro. Right?
Yeah, 10 years.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What I'm saying is people who understand the industry, not the psychological manipulation that we're dealing with right now. I'm talking about grassroots. What do people like? What can I make? What kind of artistry can we do? What can we make? And this is what you get. That's how it's supposed to be done, man. This is how gaming is supposed. This is how games get elevated. This is how teams get better, and then slim down, and you want a smaller group to do a better job. I don't want all this bloat, and nobody can release a game. How do you have 2,000 people and you can't finish the game?
Right.
You can't finish the game?
Yeah. Valheim, very successful, right? Tunic, very successful. Baldur's Gate 3 was in early access for 2 years, very successful, right? These teams come out and they make the games. Yes, a lot of these games are in early access, but they're smaller teams and they can't do what the AAAs do, right?
That's correct.
But this game is actually one game, and people are upset. There was an article of Eurogamer. Upset. Yeah. Eurogamer.
The game is successful. So we have to find a way to shit on it. Explain it to me.
Yeah, the Eurogamer article, which is just outrageous. I read it earlier in stream, in our morning stream. I think it was yesterday, right? And I was just like, what is going on? Like, it's like these people are gatekeeping who can make a game and who can't make a game. And they're shocked because this game came out and didn't do well, but this game came out and they're upset because this is making money, because it's like, who cares? Like, gamers decide what game is going to be popular. Customers decide, right? Customers back in the day decided Activision was a good publisher. Hence why Activision is a billion-dollar business it is today.
Because Warcraft.
Right.
Warcraft.
Even before that, Pitfall and all the other stuff back in the day, right?
Yeah, but
EA,
they didn't blow up.
No.
Back then, they were just making product.
They were just making game.
They were just making product.
Make a game, sell a game. Correct.
To become a household name and then carry their IPs across decades.
Sure.
Is when they started making Warcraft and Starcraft.
Yeah. Right. Like if here, I'll give you an analogy. When the NFL or baseball or basketball first started, there was only 8 teams. Right. One of those teams was a better team than the rest, so they won more championships than everybody else. Right. Then they started putting more teams in the thing, and they got less wins because it started spreading out amongst the things. Well, back in the day when video games first started, there was very few video game companies making games. Now there's thousands of developers, and right? So it's really hard to get your game seen and shown to people and to be successful. And when one does, and if it's not a AAA game, all of a sudden people start losing their mind, right? Game comes out, Suicide Squad right now is being shit on because it's not Batman Arkham game. This game's being shit on because it's successful.
it makes no sense, bro.
Makes no sense.
You have to see it from. You have to take a step back and ask yourself the question: what's the problem? Right? The game is doing well, right?
Right.
The gamers will tell you if the game is broke or something's wrong with it. The gamers will tell you. I can't rely on a reviewer who expects to be given a game for him to do a review, as opposed to him going out and buying the game as part of his fucking job and review the game on your own merit. I can't rely on that. So I would rather rely on the 44 people in this room to play a game, and I'll take their word over it over anybody from IGN.
Right. Yeah.
No contest. No contest. It's a joke, bro.
Yeah, it's strange to me.
We've lost the plot. Gaming is supposed to be about community and fun and finding out the cool shit about games. What you can do with them, how you break them, how you can hack them, how you beat your friends in them, like all kinds of stuff. That would be the fun level of gaming. All they have to say, all they keep doing is trying to throw more and more political bullshit into my game. I don't understand what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, half the people don't even know what they're saying. Like, what do you mean? Like, it's a good game. What are you talking about?
World says, Hello Kitty Island Adventure is amazing. You should play it, Sarge. I mean, Sarge played Unpacking.
I'm gonna look at it. Now Apollo. I'm gonna look at it.
Sarge played Unpacking, and it was a fantastic game.
Now that you mentioned it, I'm gonna look.
I played Unpacking last year, 2 years ago. I think it was.
Oh, what was the one that the build the farm and the house with your son? Was that Animal Crossing? Was that Animal Crossings?
We played Animal Crossing, but you never played that.
I played it for like a couple of days. I was like, I already know.
On the
I'm
Switch?
not doing this.
No.
Yeah, I'm not doing this.
Oh, when you were here. Yeah. Yeah. Look, certain games for some reason hit with certain people, and I think the reason that this is hitting is
it's called a demographic. Well,
the demographic that likes Pokemon is like
it's a shit ton.
Like you said, right? It's the largest. It's the largest IP on the planet.
Right. It's like it's got to be about. I think it's like a generation. It's almost like a full generation of kids. Like 15 years or 16 years. Like a generation is 25 years. I think like 16 years.
Yeah.
That whole bracket of people, they all know Pokemon.
Right, and now those people that grew up on Pokemon are parents or adults, and they have jobs, and they have money, and they have PCs, and they have other things, and they're like, oh man, and this brings them back to that moment.
Member berries, baby.
Yeah, and is it on purpose? I think a little bit it is, by the developers going, hey, you know what? Let's like GoBots and Transformers, right? They were trying to get into that market, it just didn't work. Right, but certain people make certain games, and it'll be funny because now Palworld is already thinking about, because they're making so much money off of this, they're being very successful what they have. I would hold your money back just a little bit, just in case the lawyers come after you. But they're already planning on making toy markets of, like, you know, toys like plushies or something like that with the animals that they've created in the game. You know, and by all means, you know, do what you want. Right, the people that now become, like, 5 years from now, if Palworld is still around, you're gonna have kids that started playing Palworld that don't know about Pokemon. They'll be like, oh, I don't know about Pokemon, but I play Palworld, right? And that's going to be a generation that grows up. Now, obviously, this could just die in a month.
Right? Flash in a pan. Yeah.
Right. But at the same time, the company still sold 9 million copies, right? They still sold 9 million copies. So they're successful, and that company can now go make another game with a little bit bigger budget.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Somehow they managed to make a game that was as good as Pokemon for $30 a game instead of $60 a game, or 70, depending on how you want to look at it. And somehow they're profitable. Weird, right? Weird.
Yeah.
Weird how you undercut and try to sell, and people might like the game for what it is and actually buy it. Incredible. It's almost bewitching to think about it. How does that work? Is it magic?
Yeah, Paul's correct. It is almost 30 years, because it came out like 95, 96, right? Because it was my tail end of my high school years, right? Sarge is in college by that time. He's not playing Pokemon at that point.
I was playing a different Pokemon. Giggity.
Different type of Pokemon. All right, let's go to top stories. All right, so let's start off with, this is just news. It's not we're gonna have a conversation or anything about it. It's just news. Ghost of Tsushima releasing on PC later this year, reports suggest. And then on top of that, Horizon Forbidden West Complete Edition comes to PC on March 21st. Look, I've said this in the past, years ago. I said that PlayStation, if they want to continue, thriving and being here in the future, they have to start taking their games off of PlayStation and moving them to PC. And since then, they've had Spider-Man and whatnot. Now you can see a lot more games are coming on PC. This is good news for gamers. This is good news for gamers. The people that don't have a PlayStation, I don't have a PlayStation 5. Ghost of Tsushima is coming to PC sometime this year. I want to play that game. I also don't want to pay $500 to get a PlayStation to buy that game, right? So now it's coming to PC. I'll be more than glad to pick it up when it comes out for PC. So I'm looking forward to that. So this is good news by PlayStation and good news for gamers around the world, because now you get to play games that if you don't have a PlayStation 5, which is 1.4 billion people that don't have a PlayStation, right? So now they get to try it out on the PC. So that's good news for us. Another one is Diablo 4, right? So Diablo 4, I enjoyed. I loved Diablo 4. I got 168 hours. It was my most played game last year by 1 hour over Starfield. Okay, 167 to 168. Okay, saw my hours. It was a close one, right? I like Diablo. I played through the story campaign. I leveled up my characters. I played a little bit. I spit on season 1 just to see what it was, and I went, "No, I'm good." I said I'm not going to touch this game until next summer, right? Because the game it might have came out, but the game was lackluster. Like the end game was Nightmare Dungeons. One thing, Nightmare Dungeons. You just keep doing Nightmare Dungeons. Here we go, Nightmare Dungeons. Okay, so here's the story. It says this comes from Game Radar. It says, as Diablo 4 Season 3 criticism. Let me get that so you guys can see it. Diablo 4 Season 3 criticism continues to boil. Even the game's most optimistic streamer is struggling to enjoy it. And the article says, am I missing something? Okay, so it says nobody seems entirely happy with the latest Diablo 4 season, and even it includes I don't know, Woody Joe, prolific streamer, the YouTuber who also well known for his optimistic take on the action RPG's content. Okay, he says, I think it's kind of weird. He says in recent stream clip posted on YouTube, what I'm doing here is so weird. Am I missing something? Am I running through the vaults, ignoring the traps, ignoring the warding? Buff, getting pearls. After 5 runs, I have 10 pearls, and then I go to Malifs and ignore the traps of all the warding and kill them and hope the best and repeat, right? And some point I'm going to get what every Evernight, the Genesis and everything else actually doesn't matter. Season of Construction is well about constructs, okay, but nobility mechanic pet called whatever that's called. You can upgrade it with various items. And Evernight and also Genesis drops the Woodrow mentioned at the top upgrades. Okay, so he says, I think we need hot fixes. Okay, he says, new season, the comments are pretty measured, but giving the streamers generally positive take on Diablo 4, the community is taking criticism of the major indictment of the season. Okay, he says, the committer puts on, he says, it's bad when the Woody, the internal D4 optimist, is negative about the game a day after a season launches. So there's problems. He's like, what am I doing here? Like, what am I doing in the end game here in the season? Like, I'm just doing this. I can pass everything and do it, right? This is the same problem they had before the season 1 came out. Same problem they had in season 1. Same problem they had in season 2. Season 3's out now, and they're having the same problem. And this is fundamentally broke, right? This is that triangle I talk about in these type of games where there needs to be an upside down triangle. Instead, it's a regular triangle, and you have less stuff to do in a game that you're supposed to have as many things to do, right? That's why I stopped playing this game, because there was so much to do when I started playing the game. But then as I got to end game and I hit level 78 and 80, it went, oh, here you go. And that's all you're doing. Just this. And that's all he's doing here. And he's like, why? What's happening? He's like, am I missing something?
There's so much to unpack. First of all, the discussion about seasons about Diablo 4 are completely irrelevant. And I mean that wholeheartedly, irrelevant, right? They sold a shit ton of copies.
Yeah, it's like
of
10,
Diablo
12
4.
million copies, something like that. Yeah.
They sold enough copies of Diablo 4 so they can make another two different versions of Diablo, no problem. The game today is, the online community is a very powerful thing. They can't control the narrative of video games. Before we had online, The only people you were talking to about your fucking game were the kids at the bus stop or your dudes at work, right? That's who you were talking about. Nobody was starting petitions. Nobody was starting boycotts. Nobody gave a shit about if the game was good, bad, or indifferent. You talked to your friend if you liked it, or you talked to your friend if you didn't, and it was the end of the fucking conversation.
Right.
Right? Because game devs cannot control the narrative, the journalists have jumped on board now, and depending who gets paid what, right, you see the sides spin depending on who they want to be good and who they want to be bad. The game sold well. It's a good game. It doesn't matter that you don't like Season 2, right? The last time I checked, when I played Diablo 2 into oblivion, okay, literally until the part where I was like, I can't do anything else. There was no end game. The end game was you trying to find the better and better and better gear, right? You just played the game, right? I have a friend right now keeps talking to me about his Diablo 2 character. He's got like $6 billion, and he has all the gear. And every once in a while, when he's bored,
Diablo 2.
he just goes on and he plays it.
Yeah, Diablo 2.
Every once in a while, he just gets on, he gets bored, he plays it, right? That's a person that loved Diablo. You just play it to play. You weren't waiting. You weren't like sitting by the bowl hoping to be fed. Oh, what do I get? Do I get Season 2? Was it good? Is it Season 3? What Season 3 had? Zombie? Was it good? Like, nobody cares. Nobody cares. You're looking for a reason to play a game that you like to play. You're going to play the game if you like it. You're not going to play it if you don't. Do you need a biscuit every time you want to go back to the game? Or maybe you just play the game because you like playing the fucking game.
Yeah, but they keep making the same mistake with these types of games, right? And look, here's
trying to force feed people shit, dude.
Here's the next thing, right? And I'm
just make the game good.
I'm hyped for Suicide Squads, right? But with these types of games, once you're done with the campaign and once you're done with, they have on content, and what's that going to be? We'll talk about that a little bit later, but. This is what's happening. Look, when I was playing the 168 hours of Diablo, I went, I've seen everything I need to see in the first 40 hours, 50 hours. I played more, played different characters, tried different things. I went, I've seen everything I need to see. This game's not going to get fixed for at least 18 months. And here we are, right? We're like 9 months in, 10 months in, okay, for this game. This game is, you're going to hear 10 months more from now, okay, where they're going to be like, and it's Diablo 2.0, and this is what we've done. We've reworked it. We've listened to you all. We really beg down. We really respect the player's time now. Like, this is the same this is a script, right? And I want to make sure everyone's clear on this. This is planned to be this way. This is not by accident that they do it this way, right?
It's not.
This is planned.
It's not.
When they sit down before they make the game, they're like, all right, well, what are we putting in the game? All right, and then we'll incrementally put all the stuff that makes it a game, right? The game, let's say, takes 5 to 7 years to make. They release it at 4, and they fix it for the next 3, and 7 years is when it was supposed to come out, but they nickeled and dimed you for everything that you had. They charged full price, if not more, okay, for the game at that time, and then you waited 3 years. And they got you for the season pass, they got you for the battle pass, they got you for the microtransaction, and they make it feel like you had a part to do with making this game better. It's planned 100%, okay? And I would love a developer to come on and tell me different, because I can't imagine you making the same game and making the same mistakes as other games in front of you, okay, and doing the exact same thing. Why are people going back to play Diablo 2? Why?
It was a fun game and it worked.
That's right. They're not going back to Diablo 3.
Fun game.
They're not going back to Diablo 3. They're going back to Diablo 2, right? Diablo 2.
It's a good game. I don't know what to tell you.
Diablo 4 was worth the price of release? Correct, Paul. I think it should have been a single-player game. Done. Put down and don't play it again. If you want to play it again, start a different character, play through the story again, play it, beat it, move on to the next character.
The perception on the development side and the publisher side is they see that the dollar signs are infinite. They see that we can sell a $70 game and then get a group of people to pay an additional $120 a year for the next 5 years. And that's what they see in their head. Like, this is what we're doing. This is what we're going to go for. And when you don't hit that number, you end up with some stupid news article like Bungie has, where they say, well, we misrepresented our sales numbers by $45 million. I don't know about you.
45%.
I'm sorry, 45%. I don't know about you, but if I was an accountant for Bungie, you'd be fired. Like, if you guys are guessing and you're off by 45%, you don't belong in finance. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, you know pretty much what your demographic is and what number of people you're trying to reach, right? And Diablo was released on everything. It wasn't just PC. It was everything.
Yeah, it's on all platforms.
Right? Because they were trying to encapsulate the largest number of people possible, right?
Right.
But it doesn't always hit on all the notes that they want, right?
Sure.
It happens. But they are willing to spend an obscene amount of money to do things that nobody gives a shit about it because they're hoping to sell you a quarter, a nickel, a dime throughout the year if that game is in your hand.
Yeah.
You want me the object of the Diablo game is to make it fun enough to where it's addictive and I want to buy something like a casino, as opposed to I'm making the best game possible to get you to play my game and tell all your friends about it. Yeah. Those are two different ways of going about making a game. And we're on the former, not the latter. That's where we are. We're about trying to get people to manipulate you to play the game longer than you have to. I'm done with the game. I'm done. Some people in this chat even said it. I played it for X number of hours. I'm done with it. I'm cool. Yeah. Good game.
I enjoyed I had nothing against Diablo. The game that came out, right? The cake that was Diablo 4, the story missions, loved it. I loved it. It was the end game that I was like, this is not. And look, a lot of games fall to this. Suicide Squad's next on the deck. Okay, I'm excited for Suicide Squad. I've said it from the very beginning, over a year ago when they first showed it. I said, I'm in it for the story. I trust Rocksteady in the storytelling. I'm in it for the story. I said that's the cake, the looter part, and all the stuff afterwards is the icing on top. Okay, if I like it, then I keep playing. I think that this is, and Paul in chat says, I think it's part on players. Absolutely, the players, okay, is what makes it tick, and that's why they designed the game the way it is to make it look like the players are fixing it. They're like, we hear you, and the players are like, okay, see, they're listening to us. Microtransaction, right? Oh, season pass, right? And they're like, see, the game's getting better. And then you have the trash knights that come out, okay, that protect the game because they think they're getting a better game, but really they're hurting themselves because you're supporting this game, a game like this where they made their 12 million. If no one ever bought anything else, Diablo 4 can make Diablo 5 and Diablo 6 based on the money they made.
No problem.
From this Diablo.
No problem.
Just off the main sales.
That's correct.
They can fund the next Diablo, and then it can fund the next Diablo if they wanted to. But they have to make all the money. And they got to make it look like that they're fixing it and they're listening. It's all part of the marketing now. It's all part of the entire plan of the AAA industry.
It's worse than a relationship where the woman is talking and she asks her man, "Are you listening to me?" And he goes, "Yeah, I'm listening to you. Don't worry, I'm listening to you."
Yeah.
It's almost the same. It's almost the same kind of mentality because he hears you, but he don't give a shit. He's not listening to you.
This was set at the GDC, right? Gamers a conference, whatever, where they said, I think it was Bungie. Quote me, tell me if I'm wrong, chat, but I'm pretty sure that at the GDC, they said that make sure you under promise and over deliver. Okay, under promise. Don't
textbook.
Yeah, you gotta make sure you don't give them too much, and then when you come out with the stuff, but they're not even doing that now. They're under promising and under delivering. Okay, and that's what they're doing, and then
promising more.
Right, and then they're like, well, we hear you. And that's going to be in the next season. And we're going to make it better in the next season. There's the carrot. You're not even looting for the stuff in the game anymore. You're literally, the loot is waiting for the game to come out. It's like a meta game, right? It's a meta, right? You're looking for that cool loot in the game, but you're actually looking in real life. You're looking for that loot in the game. Like you're like, oh, it's going to be fantastic in season 4. It's going to be fantastic. Now, this is not to say if you're enjoying Diablo, enjoy. I'm saying it from a stance of the company is doing plans like this to make it seem like they're listening and making the game better. If you're enjoying the game, enjoy the game. Okay? My problem is not with the people that are enjoying the game. My problem is with the company making the games like this, and then they still make the same mistakes over and over. Again, Suicide Squad, next on deck with the live service game. We'll see if they can change the format, and if they do, then other people can look and learn and go, wait a minute. They made a game and had content ready to go? and they're implementing it while they're still doing other stuff. We'll see if it works. So let's go to the next thing. Big news for Apple, or I should have said big news for people on Apple. Okay. So Apple opens up the App Store to game streaming services. Okay. So the likes of Xbox Cloud Gaming and GeForce Now will no longer be restricted to web apps. Okay. Starting today, Apple is opening up its App Store to allow game streaming apps and services. And this means a service like xCloud Streaming and GeForce Now, which previously were only accessible on iOS via the web browser, will be able to offer full-featured apps. Developers can now submit a single app and the capability to stream all the games offered on the catalog, and Apple wrote in a blog post that these changes apply worldwide according to the company. This is big, right? This is big news.
Huge.
Right? So in 2020, Apple appeared to have carved out a space for cloud gaming services in the App Store, but it turned out that not to be the case, and all games available through each service had to be reviewed as a standalone app. So the shift to allow the app with large catalog of games marked as a major change. As part of today's announcement, Apple said that each experience made available in the app on the App Store will require to adhere to all App Store reviews, guidelines, and also host app will also need to maintain the age rating and the highest age rated content, including to the app. So Apple also says that developers will now be able to provide enhanced discovery opportunities for streaming games, mini apps, mini games, chatbots, plugins, and found within the apps. And then the mini apps, mini games, chatbots, and plugins will also be able to incorporate Apple's in-app purchases system to offer their use of paid digital content or services for the first time. Obviously, Apple's listening, right? The clientele is the developers, and Apple's like, wait a minute, we can get money on all that stuff? Yeah, go ahead. Let us put it on there. Here you go. Put all the stuff on there, and we get our cut from each of your sales from all the stuff through that stuff. And they're like, okay, sounds good. So there you go. So this news is part of a series of shifts coming open to the App Store following the European Commission antitrust investigation. Other changes announced today include allowing alternate app stores to browser engines in the EU. So Apple is bringing the side-loading and alternate app stores to iPhone as well, but it's only in the EU. It's not happening in the United States. So iPhone, right? iPhone users, but only those in the EU will be able to download apps from a third-party app store as a result for the bloc's new Digital Market Act in March. So that's big news for.
Well, it's a start. It's
right.
A start.
Yeah. Well, they finally figured out how they make all the money from them, right? So that's why they're okay doing it. So
well,
now,
they wouldn't. I'm sure the whole last year was them sitting down trying to figure out a plan on how to incorporate this. Is probably what they were doing, because you can't relinquish power. Apple has to make sure they control their stuff to control their market.
Yeah,
but after all the lawsuits that have been going on, people are starting to see that their preliminary software and their hardware makes it only for Apple. Like, you can only be on Apple. That's it, nothing else. And they're starting to see it. And so the lawsuits have brought to the forefront that it's now putting pressure on Apple to say, listen, you got to open this up. We're still we got to still free market. You got to let other people have apps on the hardware.
Here's the funny part. Microsoft probably won't make it because they're like, why would we pay you the percentage? We can just go through the browser, right? Well, we'll just stick with the browser. We're gonna stay where we are with the browser.
I find it very humorous that now that they don't sell their own product physically anymore, nobody sells their own product physically anymore. They all sell digital. Now they're fighting about who gets to control the digital. Whereas before, I make my product, it's hard copied. I sell my product in a store. That's it. You buy my product if you like it. You buy somebody else's if you like theirs. Now we're trying to do the same thing with digital. And like, no. You can only get our digital stuff, only on hard stuff. You can't get it. Like, what are you talking about? How is that different than where we were before?
Right.
Same products. Now you want to narrow the market? You want to control it all? No, I'm sorry. That doesn't fly here.
Right. Krebsy's like 30% of all sales for doing nothing. That's a lot of cash.
Yes,
and that's why
it is.
That's why Apple was like, yeah, you know what? Maybe we should open this up and let people do it. We'll just take our percentage.
And by the way, Krebsy, if you were losing 22.5% when you made a physical copy, and now that 22.5% is yours,
right,
and now you're making 30% on top of that,
right,
how much more are you making per product?
Right. Next one. Speaking of streaming services and whatnot, we have Netflix. I talked about this earlier today. GTA gave Netflix a big boost. Okay, a big boost in the at the end of the year last year. Grand Theft Auto, the trilogy, came out on Netflix. Right now, I talked about earlier.
Wait, there's a movie?
No, it's the video game.
I'm just
yeah. So the GTA trilogy came out on Netflix, and the gaming division for the last 2 years was 1%. It didn't move. It was like 1% in 2021, 1% in 2022, and they never grew. The last month, when they put Grand Theft Auto on there, it ticked that bitch up 2 points, right? So it went 3% just because of Grand Theft Auto, right?
And that's because that 2% of Americans love Grand Theft Auto.
That's right. So out of 200 million people that have Netflix, okay, 2% more of those people came on. Were like, yeah, I'll try Netflix with Grand Theft Auto. And I joked about this, Sarge, a couple months ago. I said, wouldn't it be a kicker if Grand Theft Auto 6 came out and Netflix was like, yeah,
they got it first.
We'll pay you time exclusive. Yeah, time exclusive to bring Grand Theft Auto 6 to Netflix only for like, let's say 3 months or whatever. That would be.
I believe that's plausible.
I feel that'd be gigantic. Like everyone would be like, "I'm not doing it, bro." And then day one, they would play it on Netflix. No problem, right?
I'm telling you, that's plausible. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying that's plausible, right? In order just to get people to get onto Netflix, just to fuck around with it, you put Grand Theft Auto 6 on there for 3 months,
right?
Dude, that would be a hefty sum of money up front. But that would be like putting the entire demographic of people who played Grand Theft Auto like in jail for 30 days.
Yeah.
No one's allowed to play Grand Theft Auto. Like, what do you mean? The game comes out next week? Nope, it's only on Netflix.
Yeah, 6 months. So, right. I'm like, again, I don't want it to happen. I'm just saying it's plausible.
Right, Paul? Right? That's right, Paul. It's a good thing they're cracking down on that password sharing.
Well,
right?
Well,
Grand Theft Auto comes out, it's over.
Well, listen, they had the 200 million people before the password sharing thing, right? That was their saturation point. They weren't growing anymore, and that's why they hunkered down with the password sharing. So they're trying to get it above that. They had like 210 million, I think, at the top of Netflix, but people were sharing. They're like, we could have been at 300 million or 400 million.
I mean, 210 million is not that bad.
No,
right? That's like two-thirds.
It is for them.
2/3 of the country, bro.
It is for them because
I get it.
They're paying big bucks to get all those movies and on their platform because they have to keep making original content. They have to keep making original content.
Well, who put themselves in that cul-de-sac?
Netflix.
I didn't put them there. They decided.
Right, they did. People already said they would be willing to spend $120 for the base edition of Grand Theft Auto 6. People said that will sell their kidneys for Grand Theft Auto 6. Yeah, right. So
I want to know. Who has the balls. I think they're waiting for all this movie wokeness to go by first. I want to know who has the balls to make a GTA movie.
I mean, Ron Howard was in the first Grand Theft Auto film.
I want to know.
Was like, what, in the 60s?
I want to know who has the balls to make the movie of this. Now, let's be honest. They could just take the story that we've already seen in one of these games and make that into a movie. They wouldn't have to actually come up with an original plot. They could just use one of the plots of the game.
Isn't Grand Theft Auto just Gone in 60 Seconds or like a Fast and Furious film? Isn't that what a Grand Theft Auto film would be?
No, it is not. Right?
Right, Krebsy just said it. Isn't that a Fast and Furious?
Well, let's be honest. For those of you that have played all the GTAs that when it went 3-dimensional, not the overhead view, of course, but when it went 3-dimensional, don't you think there was enough movie plot and storytelling in those games, even though the graphics weren't up to par back then, that you could see that being a movie? Like, I saw that being a movie.
Yeah.
Right? They had the sidekick with the betrayal. They had the girlfriend that was crazy. They had everything. They had the money monger that was going to betray you or double cross you. Like, everything from every movie possible was inside the game. It's like, who's making the movie?
Right.
Who's making the movie?
Yeah, so as far as I think it's plausible. Now, again, I think PlayStation, I think Xbox, I think anybody could just take the money and go, look, we know Grand Theft Auto. Like Rockstar right now, if you think about it, fundamentally, if there's 200 million people that have Netflix, that's more than what PlayStation has. That's more than what Xbox has for people. You know what I mean? So they would have the most people's views on that. Yet, would Rockstar make money? It doesn't matter because Rockstar would be like, "Yeah, give us the money up front. We'll give you 3 to 6 months, and then when it comes out to the rest of the platforms, they'll still sell like crazy."
They would break the record for most money made from a piece of entertainment ever. Again, they'd break the record.
They would break their own record
because Netflix would have to give enough money for 200 million copies. and then they would sell an additional 200 million copies.
Well, right. It would be ridiculous, right? It would be ridiculous how much they sell. And I've said I think Grand Theft Auto.
Ludicrous.
I said Grand Theft Auto would sell more pre-orders than anything. Day one, week one, month one. They would have the most, and year one. I would think they would break all their records that they've had with Grand Theft Auto 5. They would break with Grand Theft Auto 6, but who knows? So Netflix out there got a 3% this year with their gaming division, which is 2% higher than they did in the last 2 years. I've never played. Chat, have you ever played? People in the comment section after watching this, have you ever played a game on Netflix? Let me know in the comment section down below. Let us know in chat, right? I've never touched a game on Netflix, and I probably won't. And I wouldn't play Grand Theft Auto 6 on Netflix. I wouldn't. I would wait. Just like I waited for Spider-Man, and just like I'm waiting for other things. I wouldn't play it. I would wait for the time exclusive to end and then get it on the console or PC, because that's where I would like to play it.
Listen, I'm excited as the next guy, probably a little less, of Grand Theft Auto 6. Like, I want to play it really bad, but like, if shit's going on in my life that I don't get a chance to play it day one, it's no longer a big deal. Right? I know what happened the last time I tried to play Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, it was broke.
On day one.
It was broke for 2 weeks.
Right?
You couldn't log in. It locked up. We'll try again tomorrow. We'll try again tomorrow.
I'll try again tomorrow. Like,
I'm in, bro. I'm in.
So do you think the number of people, right? So do you think the number of people playing the game is going to go up or down from the last one? Like, I'm pretty sure the answer is up, right? And I know it's going to be online servers, all right? They're going to have to keep track of everybody. So I know they're going to keep track of everybody. So I'll just chill and let the screaming match commence. And then maybe Christmas time, come on out and start playing.
The next story is Palworld Early Access roadmap includes PvP, raid, bosses, crossplay, and more. So they announced look, even though I like Palworld, don't give me a roadmap for an early access game. That's not a roadmap. That's just your fucking work that you have to finish to get the game done. You see what I'm saying? Yep. Like, if your game's in early access, don't show me a roadmap. Just work on the game.
Your roadmap is your to-do list to finish the
game.
Yeah,
it's exactly right. Your to-do list. What are we adding this week? Well, we're adding PvP. We're adding bosses, right? Like don't do that. Yeah, Dave. PvP equals PAL versus PAL. Yeah, they said they were going to put a PvP where you can do like a battle arena with your animals, like your pals, and then also PvP against each other. It says developer Pocket Pair shared early access roadmap to its Pokemon with guns. And I hate that they say Pokemon with guns. Just say it's PAL with guns. Survival game Palworld alongside news and game crossed 7 million copies. And this article is outdated. This is yesterday. They've already have 8 million copies. And by tomorrow, they'll probably have 9 million copies sold in just 5 days or 6 days now. 8 days now. For reference, it took Marvel Spider-Man 2 and PlayStation 5 exclusive, sharing arguably the most popular superhero in the world, 11 days to cross 5 million. Why don't they use that as an example? Right? That's only on one platform. This is on Steam and Xbox, but I see what they're saying because Steam, it's just Steam. 8 million copies on Steam, but okay. Anyway, if you manage to dodge the discussion of Palworld, which is taking the internet, Steam, and Xbox by storm, Game Informer has a great premiere for the read the right here. And also it says that the game looks like an action, yet check out the Game Informer recent Palworld stream below. So Palworld Early Access Roadmap, Pocket Pair says that numerous bugs and teams have already been identified. Sometimes the world date may experience rollbacks and the load screens and persist when trying to load into the world. They're going to be adding PvP. They're going to be adding raid bosses, endgame content. They're going to be adding PAL arenas, PvP versus PALs specifically. They're adding Steam Xbox crossplay. They're adding various Xbox features and improvements, server transfers and migrations, improvements to building system, and new islands, pals, bosses, and technology. So there's this is what they have going for them for the game. I hope this game continues on. It becomes a new brand for people to like. It's a fun game, and obviously, again, I don't care about your roadmap. Like, launch your game first, get it finished, and then you can tell us what the future is. This is just your to-do list to finish the game. Right? That's all this is.
This is the old school way of games getting better. Somebody drops the ball, somebody else picks up the ball. Right? I'm happy the game is doing well. I'm even more impressed that the population of people who love Pokemon gravitated toward this game and showed how popular that game is. Yet again, somebody else pissed away their own IP, not caring about it, thinking that it was a given, right? Pokemon's a given. We'll just make whatever game they'll buy, whatever, right? And that's not always the case.
Right.
This is why everyone needs to vote with their wallet, right? I understand you want to play a game, but you're not a crackhead, right? You're a big boy now.
Don't tell me what I am.
You know whether or not you're trying to be manipulated or not. You want to support a company, that's great. But if they blatantly tell you to your face, we don't give a shit about you, buy our game, and you still buy the game, you might want to seek help. Pretty soon they're gonna have to have a Gamers Anonymous thing that's not casino. That's gonna be like for calling people up and like, hey, I got a problem with video games. I keep buying shit. I don't even know what I'm buying anymore. Like that level.
Right. All right, it says, as a survival game enjoyer that used to do most of them, remaining early access forever, I personally don't care if they fully launch. So as long as as what I'm playing is good in the current state. I see that. Yeah, I mean, I totally get it. I have plenty of games that I've enjoyed that I literally put down before it even launches. Like Valheim, right? Grounded. I played the crap out of those games, and then when they launched, I never touch them again, right? I'd never touch them. So I totally understand where you're coming from. Another story that I want to talk about is RoboCop Rogue City update adds new game modes. Okay, adds new game modes. A new update for RoboCop Rogue City, highly requested new game mode, bonus mode, and players who tested their crime-fighting skills. So, in the highlight here, it says the new update of RoboCop City introduces highly anticipated features like new game plus mode, plus a bonus difficulty for players. And this, we talked about this last week, but now it launched. It's out. It says existing save files can be used to unlock New Game Plus and carry over skills and upgrades, while new cosmetic rewards are also available. Problem with this is, I beat the game. If I don't have a save close to the end of the game, or if I overrid it, I have to go through the whole game again to beat the game to get to the New Game Plus mode. I think this is a bad choice. They should have seen it in the save file that you have it, and then you should be able to, from the start screen, say New Game Plus mode. You know what I'm saying? And then just move your save over. It's a little inconvenience, that's all. The update adds a new difficulty mode called There Will Be Trouble, which is like the hardest difficulty, okay, which promises to make the enemies more challenging, giving players new ways to complete missions. There's also a whole new skill tree and more things to add to your gun, and also computer chipboards in the game. So they've done a nice little job. Let's see the... Let me go to YouTube real fast. They have a trailer here. Well, I won't play the sound. We'll just have it play in the background. This is the trailer for the new update. New update available. You got new scanning missions or whatever, right? They've added new game plus mode, so everything's more difficult. Probably, maybe you could do like headshots only. Who knows, right? This is a fun game, by the way. New difficulty level. There will be trouble.
Now let me be a 2024 journalist.
Okay. New auto skin 9. Sorry, go ahead.
Let me say that this game is dumb. The best gun is the only gun he has, and there's no variation in weapons. There's no point in playing this game. Like, meanwhile, it's a 40-plus-year-old game IP that someone decided to do something with and did a good job.
Yeah,
and I applaud them. I applaud them for doing it.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and I'm glad they got to do this update, and they did it pretty fast.
I mean, are they charging for it?
No, it's free.
Doesn't that seem weird?
Well, I think with a company like this, I didn't think they were going to sell as many things as they did, and right. Now because they sold,
thank you. So it's a thank you.
Yeah, it's a thank you for making the game popular the way it was, and I think that's a good gesture because now if they come out with another game, it'd be like, dude, they did an awesome job with RoboCop, and now we trust them to do it, right?
It's called building goodwill.
Yeah. So that's what's happening there. Argus says if Palworld gets an official Pokemon company to make a game like that, at least take parts from its own game. Also, I'm all for it. Even be more excited. Look, I think if Pokemon wants to just come out with the same exact game as Palworld in Pokemon form, someone made a mod, that person's going to get sued. Okay, if they don't take that thing off Nexus mod, because they literally took all Pokemon characters and put it into the Palworld game, and that's against the law, right? That's copyright infringement and stuff like that. But I mean, if he plays it on his own system, no one can stop him. You know what I mean? So, all right. This next thing is this guy's name is Lanny Smoot. Okay, he's a Disney research, a Walt Disney Imagineer for research and development. Okay, he has lots of patents. Right, this guy owns a lot of patents. Okay, and he created the floor for VR. Now I'm going to fast forward a little bit because he's got a bunch of different patents and stuff. But I want you to watch. Here, we'll start it here. And you're on the same channel, Sarge, so you're going to come in maybe a little loud.
And I'm humbled and
I'll
excited.
keep my voice low.
Well, Walt is the only other Disney employee to receive this honor, and you're now the second. That has to be pretty special, huh?
You know, when I realized that Walt Disney himself was the only other person at our company that's received this honor, it caused really a lump in my throat. It's amazing. Walt and his accomplishments are incredible.
Just so you guys know, he literally got an award that the only other person on the planet Earth to get it was Walt Disney himself. But this is how much this guy has done for the company.
Follow even slightly in his footsteps. It's a wonderful honor.
Yeah. Hey, we heard there was something about a floor tile or something. What's that all about?
We call it the hollow tile floor, and it's a very special piece of technology. And you know what? I'd like to show it to you. Let's take a walk over and
watch.
We'll see the hollow tile.
The hollow tile. Now, what he's about to show, this is going to revolutionize VR, houses, environments. Businesses are going to open up with this technology, right? And this is like the first iteration to what the public sees, right? So God knows what's going to happen, right? So here we go.
Tile floor.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's go. Come on.
So this is the hollow tile.
It is. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to do a little demonstration of it. So I can walk on this omnidirectional floor in any direction I want. It will automatically do whatever it needs to have me stay on the floor. And what's amazing about this is multiple people can be on it and all walking independently. They can walk in virtual reality and so many other things.
So where are you hoping this tech ends up?
You know, imagine a number of people being in a room, being able to be somewhere else collaboratively and moving around, doing sightseeing. Imagine theatrical stages that might have these embedded in them so that dancers can do amazing moves. Not me, but really good dancers. So there are just so many applications for this type of technology, and we don't know yet where it'll be.
Well, it's official. I think you probably have one of the coolest jobs.
Yeah, I think you're right. It gives me an amazing opportunity to use these inventions that I've made in service of people having fun.
Well, Lanny, it's been great catching up with you. Thanks for showing us around.
Thank you, and come back soon.
Right? Look at that technology, okay? So remember years ago when we were talking about VR rooms in like houses, I said there's going to be places and people are going to get those stands that people were getting in. You have to get those special shoes. You have to get, there's a whole bunch of stuff that you have to get. And I was like, they're going to come up with something different, better. Here it is. Now, obviously this is their version. And obviously I don't know if Disney's going to sell it to everybody else, but look at what they've created here. God knows how much millions of dollars went into that tech to make that. But can you imagine like going to a warehouse like we did in that VR when we went to the Void, okay? And then all of a sudden, now you're not even walking around the warehouse. You're standing in place with hundreds of other people in the same room as you, and you're walking in place. And you're not moving. You're running. You're all playing like Call of Duty. You're all playing like a Battlefield. You're all playing separate games, and you could all walk in different directions. Like, that's crazy. That's some cool tech, right? Say what you want about Disney World and whatnot with the woke stuff, but there's some ingenious people working behind the scenes that make very cool tech for Disney World and other things. Like, that's crazy to me. I don't know. I get excited about technology like that. What'd you think about it, Sarge? You're muted.
As I said before, there are certain hurdles that VR needs to overcome in order for become a mainstay in somebody's house. Price point is definitely one of them. But the ease of use and the transition of use is the other. If as soon as the headsets get smaller or the glasses get smaller and the floor is able to move and you can actually have a virtual experience on something like that and it's affordable, It'll go into everybody's house, and we'll go into the next phase of culture
Right.
for gaming. But we are still looking for all the pieces to fit. This is just another piece. I'm always excited when someone like this is in the background making stuff and they finally show what they're making, like how many steps we've taken technology wise. I mean, and for me, the first thing was the smartphone, man. Like, I understand computer tablets and whatnot, but the fact of your smartphone, not just the regular flip phone, like the smartphone, like what that really is in your hand.
Oh yeah.
Okay. People don't look at that with enough shock and awe, right? They look at it as just it's a convenience thing that I have, another tool in the tool belt for human. But that's light years ahead of anything we ever had, and that's a giant step forward, which makes everything else try to catch up, right? I'm always excited to see stuff like this. Like, that looks really interesting. Think of all the applications you could use that for.
Yep, so many, so many things. Just think about this, right? Even like Amazon warehouse. Okay, because you saw when he was sitting in the chair, and he was just moving by himself. The guy wasn't moving him with his hand; he was just pretending he was. They're doing that with the computer, so like they can make him move wherever. Now picture this: a big warehouse where the entire floor is that stuff, and then the boxes are just going because automated computers are just shoving it everywhere and moving it.
Like an Amazon warehouse.
Yeah, and no one has to pick up any boxes or anything. It just slides it across the thing and just moves it by itself, right? Like, that's just one of the things I think of when I see something like that. Or you could even, like I said, in the Void, where you make a warehouse and in your headset you're walking through rooms and stuff like that, but you're in real life you're standing in just one spot, right? But you're moving, so your brain doesn't. Now, this is the part where VR and people that get nauseous would go away, because your brain knows that you're moving and walking now, okay? And it feels free, it feels normal. Obviously, I think when you step on that thing for the first time, you're going to have to get a little bit adjusted, because it's like almost like putting roller skates on, you know what I mean? Or getting on ice for the first time until you get your balance. But once you're used to it, you can start moving. But that's pretty cool if you could imagine that, like tours and different things. Think about this. You get to go a virtual tour of Disney World in your VR headset, right? You get to actually walk around the park of Disney World, okay, while standing in one spot, right? Hey, you come to the ticket booth, take a tour.
Imagine this, bro.
Real estate, home tours.
Imagine Disney World. I know that this is going to sound fucking ridiculous, right? But imagine a world where you don't actually have to go to Disney World live to go to the park. They charge you to go to Disney World, but virtually, inside your own personal room, you're on every ride, everything possible inside the room that you have.
Yeah, back up your mouth a little bit. You're too close to the mic.
That's insanity.
Yeah, like it'd be crazy. Paul says the roads could have them to stop car crashes. Yeah, I could. I mean, the possibilities are endless. Chief says, "Hey, I work at FedEx. Don't speak this into existence. It's already existence. It just all depends on what they're going to do with it." Now, obviously, that little area, it's got to cost buku bucks. So I don't think this is happening like in your local grocery store anytime soon.
This is how things start.
But it's pretty crazy, and I think just the technology, what they do, that could help a lot of people branch into the meta, because a lot of people can't wear the headsets and whatnot. You know, Krebsy says, but they can't sell you $15 turkey legs in VR. Well, they could sell you virtual turkey legs, right? Well, if it's a video game, your guy needs energy, so you gotta go to the turkey leg stuff, right? They could make it. Think about it. They don't care if they sell you the turkey leg. They're charging you to go walk through Disney World virtually. They're making a ticket price for you to walk around and enjoy, right?
If we have people buying red dots for Call of Duty, we're definitely having people buy virtual turkey legs in Disney World.
Can you imagine? Well, you gotta try this. This is good. Like, got nothing in your hand. It's amazing, though. It's so realistic. Why don't we just go? We could just go to the park. All right. This next video I want to watch. Okay. I played Starfield. I have over almost 200 hours. I have 194 hours now in Starfield. Okay. I enjoyed Starfield a lot. Right. A big giant team made Starfield. Okay. This was pushed across to me the other day on stream, and one person made this game. One person. Okay. It's a Turkish developer, okay, by himself. This is his third game that he's created. He made a game called Spaceborn, just Spaceborn. Then he made another game, and now he made Spaceborn 2. He's worked on it for about a year. He's using the Unreal Engine 5. Okay. Now I want to show you this, Sarge, and you're going to be blown away. Okay. Now I'm gonna lower the volume just a little bit here. It's a 14-minute long video. We're not want to watch it. We'll just watch it play. Okay. First of all, just look at the graphics. Okay. Now I've talked about I've talked about Unreal Engine and how the technology is getting so good that one person could potentially make a game. And I've also talked about how a lot of games will look similar to and whatnot because of it. So, but I want you to think of Starfield and how many people worked on Starfield and what potentially Starfield is for the $70 price tag and whatnot. And then this game is $20. Okay. This game is $20. You know what? I don't think I even need the sound. We'll just have it playing in the background so that way you can talk. But look at the graphics, right? Look at the size of scale. Look at the NPCs. The dialogue and stuff in this game right now is all AI because it's one dude making the entire game. Okay, I would like to get him on the show and talk to him and just get his thoughts on how he can make a game like this, but yet AAA studios struggle to make a game comparison to this. So you can see there's a dialogue system, and you can pick and choose. We're gonna push forward because he's got goes through the city, but you can see the city, right? Then all of a sudden ships start to come in, and they land on the actual platform, and there's a bunch of ships that you can buy in this game. Right, here comes a ship landing, and the landing gear comes up and grabs the actual ship. Again, this is one man that made this game, and this is not just one planet, okay, that you can just play on in this one little city. It's a full solar system, okay? It looks a bit soulless, like an engine tech demo, in my opinion. This is one dude that made this game, though, Paul, compared to what Starfield is, and there's... Do you see the difference? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? It's one dude building a game where Starfield feels almost the exact same, and you can fly internally into the planets here, which you can't do in Starfield. Okay? You can... I don't know if you can leave the planet to go up into space. I guess we'll see in a second. Okay? But you can go around the planets and explore and do things. And again, this is just one guy making the game. And here he goes. He's flying up. Let's see if he goes out into the atmosphere, right? If he goes out into the atmosphere with no load screens, and yet Starfield needs load screens because the game is too big or whatnot, and if this person can go across sections of the tiles with no problem, then why can't... And this basically means, why are they still using the engine they're using, right? And I'm okay with the creation engine. Yeah, here you go. He left the planet. This is a load screen to get out of the surface of the planet into space. This is my first time seeing this. And now you're in space. Okay. First person, third person. Now you can go into the solar system. There's maps and whatnot. Here's the whole system. Now, personally, I think Starfield could have just done this. They could have just done one system, and they could have customized all the planets and made it really, really fine-tuned it. Instead, they wanted to put 1,000 planets. We'll see what their plans are in the future. Right? This looks fantastic. Okay. Game Steam and show it to dude, I can still can believe it does this. Now, I think I want to... It's $20. I think I want to experience this for myself. Okay? Right? There's look, no load screen. The load screen is the actual... when you go into warp speed. Okay? And he's flying... You can fly to the other planets, slow time, just like No Man's Sky, or you can speed up and get there faster. Okay? The space combat in this game is exactly like you would feel like in Starfield. And again, this is made by one dude. Okay, I'll fast forward a little bit. There's a target. There you go. Here's some space combat for you. Right? The ships look pretty damn good. Okay, there's literally freighters. You can have what you do in No Man's Sky. You can have fleets of ships that you can have. What's the point of this game? Space exploration. An action adventure game, open world. Right? Explosions look pretty cool. Different. Right here, let me see if the there's no
identified scout ships patrolling the area. We want you to take care of them.
So he's got AI voices doing the voices because his budget's probably like $10. His budget's lunchtime when he's not working, right? Yeah, Dave, this is year one from one guy, right? My point of this. Paul's talking like this is a full-fledged game, and he's like, well, is there story? My point of this whole thing is, look at what this game is made by one person, and now look at Starfield that's made by hundreds and hundreds of people years in. And you tell me that the passion is there. Okay? Weapons, upgrades, probes, crew.
All I'm saying is, companies are bloated. That's all I'm saying.
Right? There's all these things. Up on top here it says home, characters, ship, cargo, contracts, guilds, galaxy web, whatever that is, diplomacy, factions, and mail. And then you got a whole bunch of other stuff to do. For one guy, this is great. This would be great if it was a full team of 100 people. What are we talking about, Paul? Like, look at this. I want to get this game just to compare it 1-to-1 with a game company with hundreds of thousands of, or I'm sorry, millions of dollars into it, and what this guy is doing on his own free time.
Okay, give this guy 10 people like him and a budget.
Weapons online. Shield recharge.
Listen to the sound quality. Look, this combat's exactly like, if not better, than what's in Starfield.
Target shields down.
That's the point I'll turn, right? Bethesda said they couldn't do it. They couldn't do it, right? You hear all these companies like Bungie, yeah, the game's too big. Yeah, we can't do it. You hear Diablo, oh, well, we can't do this certain thing. And then you see games like Tunic, you see games like this where they come out, right? You see Palworld where it's 20 people, 20 to 30 people making games, okay? And then your mind is boggled. This is the same price as a Fortnite skin, okay? Or a Call of Duty skin for a full-fledged game made by one person that's still in early access that looks 10 times better than most AAA games that have come out in space, right? Star Citizen's has got billions of dollars into it. It sells ships for thousands of dollars. This dude's selling his game for $20.
Listen, I don't know what to tell you. I've come to the realization that game companies are now bloated and they don't care.
This is why people don't want companies like this or a person like this to make a game, right? This is why they're scared of companies like Larian Studios. This is why they're
mad at Palworld.
Mad at Palworld for less people doing more with what they can do.
That's right. That's right. And who better to set a bad narrative than the journalists of the gaming community, right? Hey, listen, man. In a free market, a true free market, the cream rises to the top. People who are passionate about their products, who want to get their products to market, will find a way, and they will show you how gaming is supposed to be, as opposed to being under a leash and chained to the wall and being told that you have to make it games as service, you have to make microtransactions, you have to make it addictive, you have to make it this. There's this list of criteria that they have to do now, as opposed to just making a game. Make it a passion project.
I didn't even know you could do this, Sarge. I just watched the video because I haven't seen this yet. He literally gets out of his ship and then can fly into space with his little jetpack to get onto the platforms. Okay, can't do that. Can't do that in Starfield. Okay,
I don't know what to tell you, man.
look at this. And the combat, the gunplay of the combat.
We all know the possibilities.
Look at this. I might just go buy this right now after stream. I'm not gonna play it right now, but holy fuck, right? I'll support this guy. Right? I don't even care if he doesn't even work on it anymore. Right? Just to show that, like, what he's done. Right? $20. $20. Look at the gun combat. Here you go. Right? Looks pretty. Look at dismemberment. Guy split in half. Got blood things. I know someone right now is gonna be like, "That's not how blood would splatter in space." Right? Like, one guy. I gotta keep repeating that. One guy, not a team of guys, not 100 guys. One guy making this game. Okay, look at this. Wait, you can get out of your ship and explore in space? I didn't even know that. Do you have the game, Altern? You have the game and didn't even know you could do this? Altern, weren't you the one that told me about this? You said look up Spaceborn 2? This looks fantastic. If any, you guys are crazy if you look at this and go, yeah, it looks like a tech demo. Come on, Paul. Are you just smoking a joint? Like, look at this. If I told you this is an expansion to Starfield, you'd be like, it looks pretty good. Look, ship just came out. People are getting out of the ship and fighting him. There's freighters. There's freighters in this. Right? There's dozens and dozens of ships to pay for. And not with real cash. Like in-game money that you actually play. Take it to the next level. He should hire one other guy. And together they could rule the world. Like, it's insane. The whole point is, what is happening in the gaming industry?
Right? You tell me. You tell me.
Games are supposed to be $70, Sarge. Right? They got to keep raising the price because the graphics and the time that goes into it. One dude in his basement, in a house, in an apartment, whatever, on his spare time after doing a full-time job, made this game by himself with the tools of Unreal Engine 5. Okay? It boggles my mind. Boggles my mind. All right. Next story. Monday, they did the stream of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Okay. They came out with a video. What's the name of it? It's Spaceborn 2. Spaceborn 2. Okay. They came out with the video talking about the leaderboards. They talked about what the game was going to be in the next season, who's coming in. They showed some Joker gameplay, and people are as Krebsy puts it in chat, people are complaining about the Joker's umbrella. Okay, they're like, he's got a rocket-powered umbrella. It's so unrealistic, right? And I'm like, I don't know what to do anymore, right? These people are whiny little bitches, is what they are. Like I told a guy, a guy told us today that once we see the graphics in Hellblade 2, Microsoft's layoffs will make sense. Okay, all right.
Right.
So Suicide Squad has this season pass to come out. And this is pretty ballsy on Suicide Squad's part, or I should say Rocksteady's part, right? They've showed us pretty in-depth. They had a stream with Dr. Lupo last week after our stream this week, or last week. On Friday, they had a stream with Dr. Lupo, Shroud, and I forget the guy's name, Tarek. And they played three of the characters. They played King Shark, Boomerang, and Deadshot, and the fourth person was the community manager with Harley Quinn. And they went through the end game kind of content and showed the modifiers and all the stuff. And it looked good. And a lot of people were like, well, it looks... Because in the alpha, we played this game mode in the alpha. And everyone's like, oh, so the tutorial's the same as the end game. And I don't know if that's how it was set. I think they kind of gave us those things in the alpha just to kind of test it out. But we didn't know it was the end game type of stuff. But what they're doing in this game, as far as the story, and I want to make this clear, the story itself is the game, right? Yes, it is a looter. Yes, it's a live service game, but it's a full-fledged, and they said it's the biggest story, most cutscenes, most dialogue they've ever had in any of their games. Okay, so if you've played any of the Batman Arkham games, you know how many cutscenes there are. You know how much rich story there is. You know how big and chunky that is. And they say this is bigger than that. So if you're just getting for that, that's what the game is. And then on top of that, you have the season pass, the looters, the leaderboards. You got the end game, and then you got the season pass. The season pass, first season, Joker comes out in March. Now, I don't know if it's the beginning of March or the end of March, but this game comes out on February 2nd, and this probably comes out, let's say, March 30th at the latest, right? So the first season comes out in March sometime. And with this drop, you get a new playable environment. You get new DLC villain-themed weapons and gear. You get new boss fights, enemy variants. Okay, so you're going up against Superman in the game, story den. Because of the Elseworlds, there's different variants of these characters that come in, and you'll be fighting them, and you can grind these characters, supposedly. That's what the word's going around. You get a new playable character. You get more new Riddler content on top of the stuff that was already in the game. You get new activities of strongholds, which is sort of, I guess we could say it's going to be like Destiny Strikes, maybe. I'm not really too sure what that is. And then there's episodes, 2 episodes, and then it says "and more." I don't know what the "and more" part is, but 2 episodes. One shows Two-Face, and the other one shows Scarecrow. Now, Miller, who was on the show last night, he put a tweet out and said that the first episode, there'll be 2 episodes per season. So the season's going to last about 2.5 months. Okay, so about 10 weeks of the 12 week of 3 months, right? So in 10 weeks, you're going to have every 3.5 weeks is going to be a new episode. Okay, or no, 4.5 weeks is going to be an episode. So you'll have a story mode with Scarecrow, and then you'll have a story mode with Two-Face, and it continues on to the next season. And the next season, they also show that they're going to have 3 new playable characters, one dropping with each season, 3 playable environments. That's one's going to drop with each season. More gears, more weapon, more gear sets, activities, and mid-season updates. And it says "and more." So they have more planned down the line. What do you think, Sarge, with this? Right? Obviously, this is. I'm not trying to hype anybody up. Right? I'm talking just on a business stand. Everything's free. Content is free. Characters are free. Environments are free. Gear is free. What they're charging for, which we haven't seen yet, is the Battle Pass and the microtransaction store with the cosmetics. And they said only cosmetics are what's going to be. So I would assume the banners, the maybe the kill screens, a lot of emotes, a lot of little stuff like that. What do you think? Do you think this is good, bad, indifferent? What do you feel about this DLC that the content they showed?
Well, you know me, I don't ever look at roadmaps anymore. I don't care. I only care about the game as it stands when it releases. I think when I look at something like this, I think that your theory might be correct, and the reason why they delayed wasn't because they weren't done with the game. It was because they wanted to make sure they had the bullets for the gun to be loaded for the seasons to come out as the game was released.
Right.
Otherwise, you would not be talking about it in such detail as they are here. From a marketing standpoint, I look at this and they're trying to establish a substantial amount of value prior to the game's release,
right,
to get you to buy the game pre-order. Now, I'm trying not to listen to the journalists at this point. I really want the game to speak for itself. So I will wait for the game to come out and see how it's played, right? I'll look at the streamers who play it, not the actual journalists who play it, and see what's going on. I mean, it looks like a more advanced version of Borderlands 2.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it looks like to me.
Well, ironically,
right?
the voice actor...
I'm not saying that to be a dig or a compliment. I'm just calling it for what I see from all the videos I've watched. If the game has a fun factor that keeps you playing, and has the layers of the onion, which are not totally complex, but the builds get people to want to grind for the gear in order to try out different builds, then the game will be successful. It's got to have a good game loop. The IP of it just being DC characters is just a cherry on the sundae. I mean, if the bones of this game are done well, the game should do well. I need the game for it to speak for itself. I don't like roadmaps.
The voice actor for Joker is the guy who played Handsome Jack in Borderlands. So just a fun fact there. Yeah, Anthem was stupid for saying a 10-year content, right? Suicide Squad and Rocksteady didn't give a year of when this game could be dead in 14 months, be dead in 20 months, right? And at that point, this is my next question. Is it a failure, right? Like, how long should this game last? Because it's a live service game. They want you to play it as long as they can. But at the same time, I'm asking you as a gamer, like, if it doesn't last 5 years, like, as new content comes in, is it a loss? Or is the game, just because it's a single-player game and then there's live service attached to it, is that just a win for the game itself, for consumers, not for the developer?
Yeah, the success of a game is its initial sales. So if they're able to encapsulate a large enough group to buy this game, it's successful before even season 1 comes out.
Right. And I think that's why they're showing you the seasons right now.
Yeah, the other seasons are there to keep people engaged after the end of the game is there. That's the only reason, right? That's the same thing happened with the Avengers. You were continually playing the game, waiting for the other characters to come out, and since they keep talking about these other guys that have come out, that gives you incentive to want to keep with the game longer.
Right. I'm gonna fast forward to the Joker part real fast, because they show the Joker, and his gameplay looks slick, and here I think they're trying to get you hype, obviously, because that's their job. They made a game, they want you to buy the game, but I think it shows a lot that they put it out front that the Joker's coming in, right? Because now people are complaining that it's not the Joker, it's not Mark Hamill, it's not the Arkham, that, right? Whatever, right? There's people talking about a lot of things other than what the game is. They're talking about the writer of the game. They're talking about Poison Ivy. They're talking about other aspects of this that don't include the game. People are complaining about the umbrella is not realistic, but yet they're okay with a king shark running around that could eat people and jump super high in a city, that, right? But they're not okay with the umbrella having a rocket on it, or the Joker doesn't look like the Joker they want the Joker to look. So they're showing what the different environments are going to look like. So obviously, like Captain Freeze or someone's coming in to ice up that they're putting Gotham in there. Then they have, fast forward just a bit. There's the Joker, right? Now, they said in this video that Joker is not the Joker, right? Brainiac took over his dimension before Joker became what we know the Joker is, right? He didn't become this super villain yet. He's a young kid or a younger person, okay? And he's kind of like figuring himself out, which I think is a pretty cool. I'm okay having different stories from the comics and different things. I'm okay the artist trying to tell us a story with the stuff, and then you can judge it after you play it, and then if you like it or didn't like it, you can have conversations and whatnot. But to prejudge that it's shit ahead of time because you think they have an agenda or whatnot, again, not fair to any game or anything. Okay, so this is it. Go ahead.
I look at that Joker and I see Jay Leto's Joker from
Suicide Squad. Yeah, a little bit like Suicide.
Yeah, that's the Joker I see from there. And I know a lot of people didn't like that version of the Joker. I get it. But you have to remember the fact that they decided to do this multiverse BS, they can do and say whatever they want.
Anything.
And the nerd community has to be able to deal with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They were looking for a reason not to be bullied by the nerd community by saying there's a multiverse, you can do whatever you want. You know what I mean? Like, it's fighting nerds with nerd arguments. Right. It's so I think he looks interesting. I kind of look at the Joker how I look at like Tiny Tina. I want to see what kind of an eccentric kind of character he actually is and what kind of mannerisms they have in him. He looks like a fun character. So
the gameplay looks smooth. Paul's asking, free if other people are paying for stuff? No, it's free, right? Like, this is done. The content's done. Free content. Now, obviously, if no one buys the microtransactions, let's say the game was planned for 20 months. It won't go past the 20 months because they're not making any more money. The initial sales pay all the money back, and they made a game up to this point to last a certain period of time. If they make no money from the cosmetics and no money from the battle passes or whatever you want to call it, then it doesn't go on beyond that 20 months. It ends at 20 months, and the game is over, which is done.
So says they. We'll see.
Right.
Not really obligated. It's more just talking.
So the problem is not. Oh well, look, I like paying for DLC. Like I like the Borderlands model of you like the game. You want the DLC, then you get the game and you play that game because that's what it is. This, okay, is putting it forward, right? And they're showing you, like, look, this is the game. Now they have to keep you entertained. Now, if the game is not entertaining to you and not fun, then you are not going to buy the microtransactions. But then there's also the 20-80 rule, where 20% of the population makes 80% of the profits for the company. And those people that are super diehard DC fans might buy every single season pass that comes out. They might buy a cool cosmetic from one of their playable characters, maybe one of each of their characters. And if a cosmetic, and I don't know the price of it is, but if you paid $20 for a Harley Quinn skin, right, and then you paid one for each of the other characters, that's an additional $80 right there. That's a price of a video game, okay, right there for the entire year for one suit from each of the characters. And then if you bought the battle pass, which is $10, and you bought that every season, right? That's $40 extra. So just off the battle pass for each season, which is $10 a piece, and then just off buying one skin, again, I don't know what the price is. Let's just say it's $10, $20. Let's just say it's $10 for each skin, okay? You just made an additional $80 between the 4 season passes and one cosmetic skin for each of the guys in your team, even one extra for Joker, and then there's another character coming in, and there's another character coming in. So by the end of the year, you have 8 characters in the game, right? If you paid for one cosmetic skin for each of those characters, $80 right there.
But that's why they want you to pre-order and get the things ahead of time, because they want as much money up front.
Come back, yeah.
They're trying to establish value by showing you the seasons and what's coming, so you'll be better off saying that I want to pay for the seasons up front. It's a standard marketing practice. I'm not trying to put the game down, right? I just know that there's a lot of pressure on this game, and you can tell there's a lot of pressure on this game, right? And when I notice there's a lot of pressure like this, I'm always concerned that they're just trying to sell as much as they can, right? And the game might not have all the legs that they say.
Sure.
That's all I'm saying.
I think
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
I'm sure the game will find its audience. The question is, will that audience play this game as long as they did for Avengers, and you're waiting for stuff to come out,
or like Destiny or Division, right? Like it's hard to say that, but
I know
them as a company have to at least put content in the game to get people to stick around and play. Look, people are complaining about Diablo Season 3, but there's still people playing Diablo. You see what I'm saying? Like there's still hundreds of thousands of people playing Diablo, even though it's in bad shape.
Okay, but I'll give you a different example. Okay, the whole point of Borderlands 2 coming out with DLC is because people were having so much fun with the game that they wanted new adventures to put their maxed out character in.
Right.
So then they gave you a DLC, which gave me a reason to keep playing.
That's what they're doing here, but for free.
Not because I'm looking to get something. I just want to keep playing. The game is fun.
Right.
I finished it, but I want something else to do with it. So you sell me the DLC, right? By saying you have battle passes or saying that you have seasons and trying to make me feel better about that everything is free. Nothing is free.
Of course not.
They're just hoping that you'll be having enough fun in the game to contribute to what that price of that DLC would have been.
Correct.
Right? You're taking a chance on the demographic of people. If you had just said, hey, this is a great Suicide Squad game, and then at the end of the year, after they figured out how much they sold, they go, oh, we're coming out with a DLC next spring, here it is, would be the same thing. Right? In this, the marketing for this is trying to encapsulate as much money up front as possible, as opposed to you getting the game and seeing if I want to keep playing it.
Right. I look at the free DLC, 4 seasons. If you pay for the battle pass and you get one skin, that's usually what a DLC costs in Borderlands, $20, right? That's it. $10 for the battle pass, one skin, plus you're gonna get a whole bunch of skins during the battle pass. But And what I liked about this, they said, and I think this is a bonus, right? Nothing leaves the game. So let's say you play the game day one. Even you don't want to get it day one. Maybe you get it 6 months from now. 2 seasons are out. You get to play season 0, which is the main game. Then you get to play the story in season 1 and season 2, and the gear sets that come into those things don't ever leave. So you can go back and grind for gear set of Bane's gear set. You can go back and grind for, like, let's say Scarecrow's gear set. So nothing ever leaves the game. Now, they haven't mentioned anything about the battle pass. I don't know if they're doing a battle pass as like Halo, where if you buy it, there's no FOMO, meaning that if you buy the battle pass, it never expires or leaves. And once you buy it, you can take your time going up. I think that would be a win for them if they did that, because more people, in my opinion, would buy a battle pass if they knew it didn't have FOMO, right? You don't want people to have FOMO. You want people to have fun, okay? So if you make fun for the game, then people go, you know what? This is fucking fun. I'm going to give them $10 for this battle pass because I see myself going through this and playing, where it doesn't have FOMO to it. So I don't know. I think this is a good model. Again, I don't know, because I would assume and hope that they've learned from the predecessors of Destiny, Destiny 1, Warframe, Division 1, Division 2, Anthem, Marvel's Avengers, and anybody else that came before them, and it looks like they have. It looks like they learned, and the 10-month delay, I feel like, was to make this content finished, put it in the pipeline, and not be able to chase their tail like Marvel's Avengers did or Anthem did.
Yep, I agree with what you're saying. But anytime a game company goes completely opposite of what the mainstream gaming industry is doing, it sends up a red flag for me, because you're trying to, this entire time for the last almost 10 years, it's all about FOMO and manipulation and whatever else. And all of a sudden, a game is delayed for 10 months, and you're going to come out and give me everything opposite of everything you've ever said the last 10 years. No FOMO. Do
Right.
whatever you want.
No
battle pass.
loot
You're not going to
boxes.
miss anything.
Right.
No loot boxes. Like, when you give me this giant list of stuff, I ask myself the same question. Is your game loop good enough for me to want to
Right.
be in that game for as long as you think I should be in that game?
Well, they've also said they don't want you. If you put the game down, you can come back. They're okay with you leaving, because they're going to constantly come back, and you can come back whenever you want. They've said this multiple times.
I know, but that's like, I know I'm a negative person, but I'm a realist.
I got it.
If you go against everything that the gaming industry
Something's
has done,
odd.
right?
Something feels off.
Something's off,
Yeah,
right?
something feels
Now,
off.
If all of a sudden this game company wants to be magnanimous, and you're going to give everything that we used to get before you guys started turning on us, like everything for gamers, it's all about you guys. Of course, I'm going to put my toe in the water,
Yeah.
because everybody else has been stealing from me for the last decade. So of course, I'm going to test the water. My only question is, does the game stand on its own?
Yeah.
If the answer is yes, then they should have a good run, right? If the answer is no, and you're only promising to get us in the door and get as many of those season passes ahead of time for the pre-order as possible, here's my deciding factor. The game comes out, everybody pre-orders it, everybody gets as many seasons as they can. They pre everything, right? A game comes out, they find out that it's not as good as they want to. If they're able to get refunds on all the pre stuff that they did,
Well,
then I'll say fine.
they're not
No
buying
problem.
the season. There's not buying any seasons. The only thing you're buying is the battle pass, and that's all cosmetic. So all the seasons are free. No one's paying anything up front. The only thing you're paying for the deluxe edition is the cosmetic skins, and you get the first battle pass token, premium token for free, or whatever it is, right? Like, there's a free battle pass track, and there's a paid battle pass track. Okay, that's all cosmetic.
All I know is they are looking for the best avenue to recoup as much money for this game as possible, right? The real conversation about this game, whether it's successful or not, will be if at the end of the line that this game runs, did they make the money that they wanted to make, knowing how much money they paid out? Period. I
think
that's how I will look at the game, right? Because the way that they're talking about it, it's like Salty mentioned, like they're acting like they owe someone a lot of money.
They do. They're $51 billion in the hole.
Right. I'm aware.
WB, not Rocksteady.
No, I get it, man. I'm just saying, like, I don't want to. I'm not shitting on the game. All I'm saying is, when you go completely opposite, Something's up.
No, I know.
I want to see if the game can stand on its own. That's all.
Yeah, I don't think you're shitting on the game. I think you're warranted to worry. Like I call this the bad dog syndrome, right? If you
Yeah,
get
I'm not doing what the journalists are doing. I'm
Yeah.
not doing the whole it's going to be a shit game before they even play it.
Correct.
Like, I'm not doing that.
You're skeptic because of all the other live service, and there's a lot of them that came before, and they all did the same MO, right? They all did the same thing, and this one's saying we're not doing that. We're doing this, and you're like, I'll believe it when I see it. I'm not worried about that. I think I went into this game with Rocksteady as the story. I'll say it 1,000 times. The story, the story, the story. If the story is fantastic and I don't ever play the live service aspect or do the builds or do the battle pass and I come back for each episode, I am happy because that's all I'm there for to play, right? Each one, play your own game for how you want. I'm going for story. Now, I am worried as a looter shooter guy that played every single looter shooter. I have thousands of hours across the board for all those games, okay? Borderlands, Anthem, Marvel, Division, Destiny, Warframe, like all of them, okay? I am worried about the end game in this game because I feel like the end game, what I've seen, does seem a little repetitive, but I did play the game in the alpha and I did enjoy myself a lot with that loop. And as I see what's happening as they keep coming back and as there are different gear sets and different things, I think they could do it, but I hope they don't do the triangle syndrome of Diablo and all the other games that came before it, where you're only doing that one dungeon or that one strike or that one thing for so long, because you do it 5 times, cool. But when you do it 500 times and you're waiting for the next content thing to drop, and then the next thing that comes out is the new strike or the new raid or the new whatever, and now you're not playing the old content anymore because you're burnt to shit from that. Now you're just playing that new one over and over and over and over and over, and you burn yourself out with that. That's my problem. So I hope that the end game in this game has multiple things to pick and choose and play, but we'll see. We'll see if they make the change that other ones failed in the exact same way. I'm excited for it. We're going to be covering it a lot on this channel, at least me personally. So Sarge, everything that you've seen, I know you say you're waiting. What is the factor that's making you almost buy it now, but not? You're still holding out. What have you seen that you're interested in the game?
I'm listening to them talk. I'm listening to them talk on what the game is supposed to have. If the game has what it's supposed to have and does what it says, I might pick it up. But I never pick up anything day one. So
I'm doing everything. Yes, yeah. I already have a meta. Right? Like, a part of me wants to play the main campaign with one character to get them up as fast as possible to level 30. But at the same time, I want to play through the campaign and play all the characters to find out who I want to main. Because you have to get one character to level 30 to unlock the squad talents. And once the squad talents are unlocked, then your other characters start to get more powerful just by you playing that one character. You start unlocking different talents and perks.
On the lighter side, right? I look at this as a good news. If these games as a service keep failing, and I don't want them to fail as a game, but the games as a service aspect of it keep failing, and then finally the developers or the corporate people decide that it's not worth the money to come up with another gas game because these people, it's a 50-50 shot that they're going to like it or don't like it, and go back to making games as normal, then that also is a win for us.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
Not buying a game like this sends a message that you're spending too much money. You could be making a game and sell a game, right? That's also a good news. So I'm torn by industry standards and how games are developed now. So
wouldn't it be a win for gamers though if someone can actually come out and make a games of service and actually do a games of service?
But you invented the language.
Of course.
Okay.
Whatever.
You right? No. It matters. You invented the language. You decide to say that the game is called a games of service now. Whereas before, if I made a game and made some DLCs for it, I could have called that as games of service.
Sure.
But instead we call it DLCs because the verbiage has changed, right? Or ongoing game is another bullshit verbiage, right? An ongoing game is an MMO, right? You're an MMO, right? Or you're making content for the game that I have to buy. It's an ongoing game. Like any game I play is an ongoing game until I finish it, right? So you just change the words to fit whatever narrative you're trying to sell me, right? Push comes to shove, does the game's game loop have what it takes? That's it. But if it's as good, let's put it this way: if it's as good as Avengers, right? And it does well.
Avengers didn't do very well.
Well, it was it 3 million copies, 4 million copies?
3 million when it first came out. Yeah, I think it needed to sell like 5 to make it.
Right.
Yeah.
But they didn't sell up front. They told you they were coming in the back end. This one's selling you all up front. So
yeah, they're hyping you up for the
marketing's different.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's matters.
I think
that
if this game can come out and do what the other companies couldn't do, like Destiny 1 failed in this aspect of games as service, and Destiny 2 did better than Destiny 1. Division 1 failed in that aspect because they were late on their content, and Division 2 did much better, right? So we're talking 4 years after the first game came out and 4 years after the other game came out where they made those games better, learning from their mistakes. Obviously, Anthem didn't get that chance. Marvel didn't get that chance. I think this game could look at those 2 games, Division 1 and Destiny 1 and Destiny 2 and Division 2, and be like, all right, this is what they did for the sequels to those games. Can we do that up front with this game to keep it going? And I think if they do that, I think that's a win. I think it's a win.
Yep.
Yeah, can you still play Division 1? Yeah, you can still play Division 1. A lot of people, there's a huge community in Division 1 because they love the survival
aspect.
The survival aspect of that first game. Krebsy says live service has never been the problem. It's the companies not knowing what they signed up for and learning from others' greed, awful business structure. Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. If Rocksteady and the game Suicide Squad can figure it out and do it correctly, that's a win for us, right? Because then it's an actual live service game that they're supporting, and it's not about nickel and diming you. They're giving you all the stuff up front, and they're also giving it for free, and all you're paying is for the cosmetics. But we'll see when it comes out. I'm excited. Like I said, I'm going to be covering the game 100% when it comes out next Tuesday, or actually next Monday midnight. It comes out, I believe. So we're going to be playing at midnight to about 2 o'clock in the morning on Monday. Then we're going to play it Tuesday morning, Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, Wednesday night.
When's it come out?
It comes out midnight on Monday next week. If deluxe edition, it comes out for everybody on February 2nd for the standard edition. So we'll be playing that. We'll be covering it. I'll be doing a lot of stuff with it. So if you guys like Suicide Squad, you want to come in and hang out, we're going to play the story first. Once I'm done with the main campaign, I will then play with anybody that wants to play, and we can go through and kill stuff. Right? So that's it. That's the last story. We got through all the stuff, Sarge. Another week, another show, another episode, 380 in the can. I do appreciate you all coming out and hanging out with us each and every single week. If you like us, make sure you hit that like button down below. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. We're closing in on 1,900 subscribers. My goal this year is to get to 5,000 subscribers. So I appreciate it if you want to be a subscriber. Check out our videos. We do morning streams Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. We do news stories. Talk to you guys live and chat, have back and forth. It's just a conversation. It's just like if you came over my house, we're sitting on the couch and we're just shooting the shit. You know what I mean? So make sure you come out for those shows. We also do uploads every single day. I'm trying to do uploads every single day. So if you miss the live shows, I do breakout videos of those throughout the week. We also do live gameplay in the evenings, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We have an extra podcast that we did. We have 3 episodes. We have the Kingard for 2 episodes. We have Miller that was on last night for the podcast. It's a 30 podcast. And then we have this podcast, Generation X Gaming, the weekly podcast that goes over a few of the top stories from the past week, and we rant along the way. So lots of content. Just like the guy that made Spaceborn 2, I'm just one guy making a lot of this content here all by myself. So I do appreciate you guys supporting Quintar with the gifted 5 memberships. Cheers to you. Where's my crowd sound? There you go. Thank you, Quintar, for the continued support. And that'll do it for us. You guys have a great rest of your evening, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Game on, guys.
They're 2 brothers and gamers that have been playing games since the early 1980s. Combined, they have over 65 years experience. Join them each week as they discuss and rant about gaming and entertainment news. This is Generation X Gaming.